Hey, welcome back to the channel. So for today's topic, we're going to talk about the Master Collector program, and I'm going to focus more from a comic collector side of things. So I'm not going to really talk about the actual collectibles. I'm going to talk about comics. And if you don't know anything about the Master Collector program, that is fine. We'll discuss that here in this video. To kind of give you a quick summary, it's basically a program that's designed to reward heavy VeVe users. All right, so like if you're really involved with VeVe, and let's just say you have, let's just say 100 collectibles or comics is a decent number. I think that is, in my opinion, that's quite a bit of money. So if you're anybody like that, you're going to be rewarded based off this program, and it's going to be retroactive. So say you've collected since March or April or whatever month you came into this, they have kept track of it, and they're going to give you points based off of that. So you're going to get daily points and one-off points. So that's a really cool thing. We'll talk more about it, but I just wanted to kind of give you a little recap of what Master Collector program is. Alright, so let's talk about the daily points for comics. Remember, this is more comic oriented than it is the collectibles. So for commons, uncommons, rares, ultra rares, and secret rares, what you see here is what you'll get for your daily points. So a 0.25, 0.50, 2.0, 3.0, and 6.0 for your daily points of the comics for all their rarities right here. Now if you look on the right hand side, what you see here is me doing a simple math problem, and this example is if I acquired a rare comic for $40, I would divide it by 2, and that's because the rare is worth 2 Master Collector points, and then I would get $20 per point is what it comes out to be. Now I'm bringing this to your attention because if you are Master Collector program shopping type thing going on, you're going to want the best bang for your buck. So sometimes people collect because they love it. Some people collect it because it's a investment just for pure money reasonings. And then you'll also have people on VeVe collecting for Master Collector points. So if you're doing this strictly for Master Collector points to kind of pad your numbers, then you're going to want the best bang for your buck. So that's what this is showing right here. So you can actually get a little bit lower than this for some collectibles out there. Now on the comic side, this is about almost as cheap as you can get for comics, as best bang for your buck. Collectible side, there's a few collectibles out there that you can acquire for cheaper. So for instance, as of right now, like Marvel Mighties, I think you can acquire some of the collectibles for like $13 or $14. So it comes out to like $13 or $14 per point. But you can only acquire so many of those, and then you'll have diminishing returns, and so it won't be beneficial anymore. So then you'll have to find the next best thing. And so if you come over here to the comic side things, rares is actually a really good place to get some decent dollar per points. So let's look a little bit further down. So you'll see that, which I already mentioned about the duplicates. So for commons and uncommons, this does not apply, but for everything else, for the rarities, there are diminishing returns. So for instance, if I bought another rare, like the same exact rare comic, so say for instance we're talking about, I don't know, just Fantastic Four number 12. I bought the rare for $40, and then I went and bought another Fantastic Four number 12 for $40. I'm going to be hit with the 50% diminishing returns. So what's going to come out to $40, where usually it would be $20 per point, is now going to be $40 per point because I'm only going to be rewarded 1 point for that, just to make sure you understand that. The next thing is the low mint bonus. So this is a big deal. If you calculate 5% of the lowest comics out there, issued comics, and you'll find your magic number, and if you find a mint under that number, it's going to reward you a 50% bonus. So for instance, this rare over here, say I acquired a low mint for $40. I took that low mint and I did the math on it. It will come out to somewhere around like $13 or so. Yeah, about $13.33 I guess per point, because that low mint rare is now worth 3 points. So it is kind of a big thing to look out for. Those are good ways of kind of padding your numbers for Master Collector programs. So as of right now, as of today's video, rares is a good way to go. Now, there are sometimes I've seen it out there where uncommons is not a bad way. The only way for uncommons to be beneficial for you, and it won't be nearly as good as this $20 per point, but it can come kind of close, is whenever you'll see it from time to time. Somebody's selling an uncommon for like $11 or maybe $12. And if you were to do the math on that, like just say they bought 2 uncommons for $12. So it comes out to $24 for 1 point. So that's $24 per point. That's not too bad of a thing, because remember, let's just say you bought every single rare that was $40. You're going to be stuck. Like, now you're done. So what's the next best thing? Well, then your next best thing is maybe uncommons for, like what I said, if you can get an uncommon for like $11 or $12, it might be your next best thing. And then remember, uncommons, they do not get hit with diminishing return points. So let's just say you found a bunch. Say it's a gem squeeze going on, which there might be a couple more of those in the future, and somebody's selling a bunch of uncommons for like $10 or something like that. I would stack up on those if that was me, just because you can't get hit with the diminishing return points. So you can just, in theory, just buy a bunch and have a really good amount of Master Collector points. So let's move on. Okay, so what is this all for? It is for levels, ranks, and badges. The main things that I'm focusing on is the levels and ranks. So your Master Collector points are going to go towards them. You're going to have a leveling system, and you're going to level them based off of how many points you've earned. So levels is like permanent. So you're not going to lose your level. Ranks, on the other hand, is more like dynamic. You can actually go up or down for your ranks. So they're two different systems, and they do have benefits. So for instance, like leveling is going to allow you to have things like the premium market listings. So you'll be able to participate in those. You'll have the expanded AR features. You're going to be allowed access to the drop raffle. You're going to have access to accessories, and then there's also going to be exclusive content that you'll only be able to acquire this based off of your level. And then there's also other things that apply to this, but those are the main ones that I'm kind of focusing on for the Master Collector program as far as why they're beneficial. I think those are really good reasons. And let's talk about rank. Okay, so for the Master Collector program, it's going to have 23 ranks. The rank is going to be based off of other VeVe collectors. So kind of think of it like a performance review, where every day you get graded for your activities, your daily points, and your badges, and all that good stuff, right? So the lowest rank is a bronze 1, and the highest rank is a Master Collector. There's really not a whole lot to cover really on the ranks part, but that is the gist of it right there. Okay, so badges is going to be pretty much whatever they come up with. So an example would be, let's just say you complete a set. They'll give you points for completing that set, and there's probably going to be other ones like, say you collected 10 secret rares. There might be a badge out there that says if you collect 10 secret rares, here's your badge. You'll have it. You'll be able to display it, kind of show off your achievements. And then the main thing that I'm looking at is the points. So it's going to reward you points. I don't know how many points they're going to give you, but it is something to be on the lookout for. And so one thing that I believe that they're going to come out with is secret rare badges. So they'll probably have like different types, maybe a 5 secret rare badge, if you collected 10, here's your 10, here's one if you collected 20 secret rares. So I think some of those secret rares out there are going for really cheap prices for at least in my opinion. I think they're affordable prices for a secret rare. Those are probably not bad ones to grab up for these badges. But that also comes down to how many points are these badges going to give you. I'm thinking they're going to give you a bunch. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Okay, so let's talk about what are we going to spend those points on. So the very first one that I think's pretty important, in my opinion, is the drop raffles system. So the drop raffle system, why is this important? Well, eventually we're going to go to a drop system where it's just going to be random. All right, so right now, let's just say you're somebody that wins a bunch. Like you just have really good, hardware, the servers, everything's in your favor, and you're winning all the time. Well, eventually you're going to go to where they just randomly select out of all the users participating, and those are the winners, right? So it's going to be completely, I guess you could say, fair, right? Now that means everybody's going to have all the same crappy odds. Now the raffle system is going to be neat because the big players, people that are really involved with the Master Collector program, are going to really benefit from this because they're going to be able to take their points and buy as many raffle tickets as they want. And the big thing with this is that you're able to pick the rarity of the drop. So that's huge to me. So let's just talk about things like ways that this thing can pay off. Let's just talk about a few big drops out there. Let's just say it's Amazing Fantasy number 15, or it's maybe Captain America number 1, could be Avengers number 1, could be what else is out there, like Hulk 181. There's a bunch, right? There's a bunch of big comics. Let's just say it's even DC comics. So some of the big DC comics come out are, if you're into collectibles, say it's Pokemon or Naruto, the list goes on as far as like big names out there. And if it is a Pokemon, and let's just say it's like a secret rare Charizard, right? So this thing comes out, there's only there's only a few hundred of them. It's like a blind box, but the secret rares, there's only like a few hundred of them. We all know that Charizard's probably going to sell for like anywhere from like 15,000 all the way up to, who knows, maybe like some crazy number like 30, 40,000, 50,000. I don't know, but I know it's going to be big. I know Pokemon's really big, and it's going to be the first drop. So you'll be able to use your raffle tickets on, some of those, because just before I go any further, the raffle tickets, it selects only so many of them. So say it pulls 5% of the secret rares. I don't even know if it's going to be that much, but let's just say it takes 5% of the secret rares, and that's into the raffle system. So you'll be able to compete for those 5%. That's kind of how it works, all right? So whatever the percentage is, I don't know, but just know that the raffle system, in my opinion, I think if you're able to actually win, it's going to pay for itself because you're probably going to be using the raffle system on some big ones, right? And there's going to be more big ones down the road as far as comics and collectibles to grab. And I think it's really neat. I think it's a big deal in my opinion. And if you're really into the Master Collector program, you're going to have better odds than you are of them randomly selecting a person winning, right? At least that's the way I see it. So if I'm really big and I have some crazy amount of points, I've been saving them up, and I decide to use it on that one drop, I'll have really good odds, all right? I know I'm going to face other people that are doing the same type of strategy, but you have to remember there's only going to be so many of those people. So if you're one of those people that are really involved with VeVe and you have a bunch of collectibles or comics and you're acquiring a bunch of points, then I think this thing's going to really benefit you. Now, you may not win all these raffles. That's okay, but I think eventually you're going to win some, right? Nick, you're bound to. Like the math is there. You're going to win some, and so really, if you win any of these big ones, it's going to pay. It's going to be a really good payoff, in my opinion. And if you think about it, it's like not really, the points aren't really costing you anything, especially if you do it right. Like if you collect stuff that you really like, and then it so happens to give you a bunch of points, like, man, it's even cooler. So I don't know. I actually really do like the drop raffle system. I think it's neat. And the fact that it gives you 90% of your points back is huge to me. I mean, that is really cool that not only is it giving you 90% back, it's not going to be the raffle tickets. It's going to give you 90% points. So just say you went and did this raffle, you didn't win, you don't really want to do the raffle anymore, like for the next couple of weeks or month, and you want to take those points and spend it on something else, you can. So that's really cool that it actually converts it back to points and gives you 90% of them back. So I think it's a pretty neat system. So the next thing is accessories. So accessories is probably not going to be the biggest deal in the world, but it is going to still be neat. So pretty much it's going to be like non-licensed high edition items. So you can, like what it says here in the description, you can trick out your showroom. So I think it's going to be kind of neat. So I mean, I would imagine it's going to be things like wallpaper or maybe like couches, just anything that can trick out your showroom. It's going to have, who knows, maybe some lights, maybe smoke, like, whatever they want to do. But I think it's going to have a place for it, and I think it's going to be neat, especially once we have the VeVeverse coming out. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of weight for the accessories at the moment, but I also don't think it's not, I think it's going to be cool if you're into like showrooms. So if you like messing around with your showroom a lot and you like showing off stuff to people, then I think accessories is definitely going to be, the thing for you. I would imagine it's probably also going to be stuff like, say for instance, you can put a hat on your character. So you have a Labbit out there and you want to put like a Christmas hat on them. I would imagine that's some of the stuff's going to, you'll be able to do stuff like that to your collectibles. So I do think it's neat. I think it's going to have a place for it. So that's why I made sure to add that for the Master Collector program as far as sharing it with you. So the next thing that you're able to do with your points is the premium market listings. Now this one is also kind of like in the same boat as accessories. It is neat. I just don't know how much weight I would give it. It is a cool thing to have because, it's going to showcase any of your collectibles or comics out there. So say for instance, you're trying to get rid of something fast. This will just showcase it and somebody will see it and maybe, you'll get a quick sell. Or the other way is maybe you have a mint number that's really cool. Like just say it's the date the comic was published type thing, right? So you have that, said year, then you can go and do a premium listing. So then when somebody's searching for comics, they'll notice that premium listing right away, and then they'll see that date and like, oh, you know what? Like that's actually really cool, and then they purchase it, right? So I think it's going to have a place for it, but is it going to be making you tons of money? I don't know. I think it's going to help you sell stuff faster is the main thing. So who knows? I guess you can say it kind of makes you some money maybe. But yeah, that's about it for the premium listings. All right, so let's check out the Master Collector Program Pro version. So what this is a subscription service that you'll pay monthly. They haven't told us what the pricing is yet, but it will be a subscription service, and it's going to have benefits out there. So if you're really serious into VeVe, you'll probably end up going this route. And what's neat is that they do reward the top 6 ranks out there. So remember, the ranks are dynamic, and so if you got yourself up to a top 6 rank, you're going to be rewarded the Master Collector Program Pro for free. And the reason why is because they figured since you've already spent enough money getting there that you probably deserve to have a free subscription service. So it is kind of neat to at least acknowledge that. So what are some of the cool features for it? So like small percentage bonus towards the points you already earn. So if you already earn 1,000 points a day, this will help boost those points. So just say it's only a few percent. Well, that few percent will start looking nicely once you have a whole bunch of points that you're earning a day, right? So it is pretty cool to still, have some type of advantage like that. The auto bid feature is a really cool feature. So if you're into the auctions, it's just like an eBay feature. So, say for instance, there's a auction out there, the bid's only like $11 right now, but your maximum is $35. So you can go ahead and do the auto bid feature where you'll put $35 as the max you'll bid. And so you'll bid against people all the way up to $35. You don't have to do, anything after that. And, if it stays under 35, you'll win it. So I do think that is a pretty cool feature. The next one is exclusive content. That's big to me. Like that right there sounds really cool. So how many of those are they going to do? I don't know, but if just any of them, the fact that they're going to have exclusive content out there, for accessories and collectibles is really cool. So the main thing I'm looking at is collectibles. So the accessories part, yeah, whatever. But collectibles, now we're talking. All right, so if they're really going to go down that route, that is a cool feature to have, to be part of. So don't ignore that one. That one to me is pretty big. The next one, burning collectibles. So you can burn collectibles for points. I don't know if I'm going to go that route. I need to find out what you're burning. Like, what does it give you? I would imagine whatever we burn is going to give us some like really good amount of points. So I would assume that's what they're going to do. Now, if they don't, just say you burn something, you don't really get that many points, then that's probably not a feature I'm going to be using. But I would imagine they're smart enough where whatever you burn is going to give you a whole bunch of points, and so it's probably going to be a neat feature to have. All right, so the next one is the free drop raffle tickets per month. So that's cool. So you get a little extra points. So that's pretty much all that is to me, is just extra points per month. So that's neat. Who knows how many they're going to give you, but just cool that they give you that. Renting collectibles, now that could be big. So if you haven't really thought about the money making ways of that, it would be like acquiring something that most people can't acquire. Let's just, since we're talking, since I'm usually talking about comics, it'd be like a Marvel Comics #1. Say I own it, I can rent it out. Like, hey bud, do you want to show this off for a day or two? You can rent it out for a few dollars a day or something, and I think that would be really cool feature to have. And then the other ones is like extended AR features. That one is going to be neat. And then there's more to come. So who knows what the more to come is, but hopefully it's something really cool. All right, so the last thing we'll talk about is the AMI utility program. So I included this in the video because they do relate with each other. So you have the Master Collector program, and then you're going to have the AMI utility program. So it's just another way of acquiring points and to give you an advantage as far as collecting goes. So let's just start off with one reason why it's cool. Let's just say you only put a few $1,000s into VeVe itself. So you only own a few $1,000s worth of collectibles and comics, right? But you think VeVe is going to be a good investment, so you invested into the Akami coin, and you put, just making up a number, just say you put like $20,000 into Akami. So now you can take your AMI coin and stake it, and then you're rewarded points. So I do think that is a pretty cool feature for people that don't really want to collect a whole bunch or put a whole bunch of money into the collectibles or comics. It gives them another way of making points to still kind of participate and have fun. So let's just talk about the staking tiers. So tier 1, you own $1,000, you'll have access to purchasing accessories with AMI and the premium market listings with AMI, and then you also earn some bonus points for being a tier 1. Now the next one is tier 2. So tier 2, you have to have $5,000 or more, and it gives you everything on tier 1. And what it does, it also gives you a little bit more points per day. And then you'll have access to the AMI drop raffle. So that one's always big. To me, I think the raffle, we already kind of talked about the raffle system, where I think it's a big deal. The secondary market trading with AMI, and then you can burn NFTs for points. So those are really cool. The last one on there is 0.5% AMI market transaction fee. That just means the buyer pays that much if you were to make a market transaction with AMI. So not really a big deal, but it is in there. But the main things to get out of tier 2 is burning NFTs, the drop raffle, and then the extra points. Then the last thing for tier 3 is, so if you have $10,000 of AMI, you'll get everything from tier 2 and tier 1, plus the bonus points. You'll get even more points. And the main things that you're going to get out of this thing is renting collectibles and then having the expanded AR feature. So this is where like what I was kind of talking about comes into play. Say like you only had a few $1,000s into VeVe, and you were not able to get to the level where you're able to have the expanded AR features. Well, if you have $10,000 or more like into the actual project, then you'll be able to pick up those features. So I do think that is kind of neat. So you can get it from two ways. Like you pick your poison, I guess, is the proper way of putting it. Now, there has been some backlash for staking. So if you're not familiar with staking, so staking is something you can do with a lot of the crypto projects out there. And what happens, so without saying the behind the scenes stuff, we'll just talk about from like an investment standpoint. Staking is a way to reward the person that's staking. So if I was to stake $10,000 worth of Ami coin, I should be rewarded for locking up my tokens over there. So what happens is that they give you a reward, and it can be anything. It can be anywhere from, maybe a few percent all the way up to 30-40% or more per year, and they'll reward you. Just every project's different. So here, the way Ami or Akami is rewarding you is by giving you bonus points towards the VeVe program. And people felt like they weren't being rewarded enough, though, and so they did get some backlash. And what happened was Twitter, or VeVe on Twitter, announced that they will probably add some additional tier lists to here. And to top it off, it sounds like, if you look at the very last sentence, that you are going to have a chance at getting ultra rares and secret rares, or at least have better odds of acquiring them through their staking program in the future. Really, really cool. So that to me is a big deal. So if you really want every angle out there as far as acquiring stuff, hopefully this video opened your eyes, because now you're like, okay, so I can acquire, I have better chances at the Raffles now. I can get it from, the staking through staking Ami, or I can get it through the Master Collector program. And then there's also the chance at, having exclusive content, only for certain people of certain ranks or levels, however they decide, it's going to go down. That right there is huge. And then to add to it, that if you're part of the Ami program, you'll have the rares or the ultra rares and secret rares. Like, to me, that's super cool. And then you can rent your collectibles and comics, like, renting some of these big boys out there. Say you have one or two of them, you can rent them out. Like, I think that's gonna be really neat, especially if there's gonna be like gamification out there, and say there's certain collectibles that are part of that, and you have them, you can rent them out for people that don't own it and don't want to buy it, but they want to, use them. Then, there's other reasons. Like, I think it's really cool. So I hope this video, like I said, opened your eyes for some of this, because I do believe that a lot of people are kind of like ignoring it right now, which I totally get, because, man, they've been, saying that they're going to have a Master Collector program for a very long time now, and it still hasn't came out yet. So it's kind of like under the radar. But I've been, collecting, gearing towards it, because I do think it is important. And, but yeah, so I know this was a really long video. I do enjoy y'all's time, though. So as always, thank you for watching.